it's no wonder that I don't have room to create right now, because I didn't realize how much stuff, how many decisions I had to make on a daily basis.
The biggest transitions from just having a business to having a company is that transition point where you start to build out a team. And I think a lot of people, I resisted it for a long time. I thought I was better at all these things than anybody. That no one can do it better than I can, or let me just get in there and figure it out. And I think, oftentimes entrepreneurs get stuck in that mode. They can't scale because they're still trading their time for money. And there's only so many hours in a day. There's only so much you can do. So they get stuck there because they refuse to let go of the reins. What was kind of that transition for you? Like, what was the spark that made you go off and start building a team?
Yeah, I didn't build a team like all at once. I mean, I started with tasks, because here's the thing, most entrepreneurs starting out are probably have to do everything. And I think early on I realized, as long as I can kind of build a system for what I'm doing, I can pass that on to someone else. So at first it was the podcast, right? Like I create a lot of content, clearly. So it was like, first, here's how I want to edit the podcast. Here's what I want it to sound like. Here it is. And I could give that to someone. I just began to do that over multiple things until I could build up enough profit where then I could hire someone on full time, And so the same thing with my executive assistant. Best hire for an entrepreneur. When I hired my executive assistant, dude, who's virtual, by the way, and I had to just share with her everything that I was doing. It took me a week, by the way. And then I came home to my wife. I'm like, it's no wonder that I don't have room to create right now, because I didn't realize how much stuff, how many decisions I had to make on a daily basis. That now I don't have to do anymore because she can take care of it.
It's liberating.
Dude, that was so huge for me. And when I realized that, I'm like, okay, I need more people. And then so I just hired a full-time content manager. And the reason I hired her, I probably wasn't ready from a cash standpoint, but she was writing for me. And I asked her, like, hey, what's the future look like? She's like, well, I started to interview for some other jobs. And what I realized is she's really talented and I didn't want to give her up. And so I just said, I thought about this from a long-term standpoint, like the cost of losing her is much greater than the cost to me to just go ahead and hire her.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Absolutely. And I think that's hard, dude. Like the cost of losing her was greater than the cost of actually just spending the money to hire her full time.
Yeah, that's
and right. I just gotta, we gotta go and make more money to, to keep her on. But I know that I made an investment into my brand and my company by bringing on a full-time content manager. So I think you just grow into it, man. Like it starts with tasks, but I think the biggest thing for anyone is start tracking what you do, make sure you're building a process around everything that you're doing. If you're not good at processes, bring on someone who can help process what you're doing, because you can't hire anyone if you don't have a process for something.
Totally.
Or you can hire them and you're going to waste a month them observing what you do so that they can build a process. Yeah. So you're going to build a process regardless.
Loom helps a lot with that.
Loom is good. We use Loom, we use Monday.com. Before I brought on a guy that even build it into Monday, just Google Sheets. It was just like, do this, like just a paragraph. Like, here's my process.
Yeah. That's awesome, man.